Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. A man from Toronto is on the verge of becoming the first Canadian to be cured of HIV, thanks to a rare bone marrow transplant received to treat a life-threatening blood cancer. Dr. Sharon Walmsley, director of the HIV/AIDS clinic at Toronto General Hospital, leads the patient's care. The 62-year-old, known as the Toronto patient, was diagnosed with HIV in 1999. In 2021, his blood cancer necessitated a high-risk bone marrow transplant from a donor with a unique Delta 32 genetic mutation in the CCR5 gene, which makes immune cells resistant to HIV. Having stopped antiretroviral therapy in 2025, his HIV levels have been undetectable since April 2026. If this continues for another 20 months, he will be considered cured. This complex and expensive procedure has only cured 5 to 10 other individuals globally and is not a general solution due to its risks and the rarity of matching donors. However, experts like microbiology and immunology Professor Eric Artz hope this case will inspire less invasive treatments. The news comes from Radio Canada International. The Canadian press reports that Trans Mountain Corp and its federal parent, the Canada Development Investment Corp, are open to the possibility of the Canadian government owning the Trans Mountain Pipeline indefinitely. Mark Maki, the president and CEO of Trans Mountain, emphasized the pipeline's status as a sovereign pipeline and an incredibly strategic asset for the country. Elizabeth Weidman, who leads the investment corporation, supports the idea of long-term federal ownership, stating she would personally love to see it owned by Canadians. The pipeline is currently operating near its full capacity of 890,000 barrels per day, carrying 850,000 barrels of crude daily from Alberta to British Columbia. This near-capacity operation highlights a lack of flexibility for producers to export oil to eager buyers across the Pacific, prompting calls for a second West Coast pipeline, for which Trans Mountain is providing technical expertise to Alberta's efforts. The federal government acquired the pipeline for $4.5 billion in 2018 after Kinder Morgan Canada withdrew from an expansion project due to environmental opposition and legal challenges. The project's total cost ultimately exceeded $34 billion by its May 2024 startup, but Maki expressed confidence that Canadian taxpayers would see their investment replicate. The Canadian press reports that the Quebec government is set to invest $252 million over the next 5 years in a comprehensive preventive health strategy. This significant financial commitment aims to mitigate illness and address the escalating costs of healthcare. The funding will be allocated to 54 distinct programs, which include initiatives to promote physical activity, support smoking cessation efforts, prevent sexually transmitted infections, and advance research into disease prevention. Health Minister Sonia Belanger emphasized that this investment reflects the government's commitment to expanding health programs beyond traditional hospital and doctor's office settings. The province's preventive health strategy explicitly targets a 10% reduction in the consequences of preventable illnesses and aims to decrease premature mortality linked to socioeconomic inequality. Additionally, the minister responsible for sports noted that this strategy is pioneering in its official recognition and dedicated budget allocation for the link between sport, outdoor activity, and illness prevention. British Columbia's provincial health officer Dr. Bonnie Henry announced that none of the Canadians on the MV Hondius, a ship affected by a Hantavirus outbreak, had any known direct contact with infected individuals. Despite this, 4 people from the ship were flown to Victoria on Sunday and are now undergoing a minimum 21-day isolation period on Vancouver Island. All 4 are reported to be well and asymptomatic, which Dr. Henry described as reassuring during this critical incubation phase. The isolated individuals include a couple in their 70s from the Yukon, a Vancouver Island resident also in their 70s, and a BC resident in their 50s living abroad. They are in 3 separate locations and will receive daily monitoring. While considered higher-risk contacts, these 4 are on the low-risk spectrum of that category. Additionally, 2 other passengers from Ontario and 4 other potential contacts in Canada remain asymptomatic. A Quebec resident who shared a flight with a symptomatic person to Johannesburg has completed their isolation and is also asymptomatic, with their contact deemed low risk. Globally, the World Health Organization reported a total of 7 cases and 3 deaths related to this outbreak as of Monday. This report is from the Canadian Press. Edmonton police have laid a total of 33 charges against 6 men, alleging they intentionally damaged vehicles during private sales to coerce owners into selling their cars for significantly reduced prices. The charges include mischief over $5,000, uttering a forged document, and fraud over $5,000. The accused are Constantine Dumitru, Tiberius Grigor, Cosmin Mostada, Ramus Rafaela, Orlando Turcan, and Florin Constantine. Following an October search warrant that led to the seizure of 9 vehicles, police discovered the suspects used distraction-style tactics during sales, often involving 2 or 3 men. They would tamper with or damage vehicles, making them appear to have serious mechanical issues like head gasket damage or oil leaks, before pressuring sellers to lower the price, sometimes for up to 2 hours. These vehicles reportedly had no prior issues. Authorities believe many of these vehicles were later registered with forged documents indicating lower odometer readings to facilitate further fraudulent activities. The purchases occurred in various locations including Calgary, Leduc, Sherwood Park, and Thorsby to avoid suspicion. To date, 13 complainants have been identified, and Global News reports that police have released photos of 4 suspects who remain at large with province-wide warrants, urging anyone with additional information or similar experiences to contact law enforcement or Crime Stoppers. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.